So the other day he's at the dealership and he starts calling me and posting on Facebook, which one should I buy? I'm like, whoa, 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 hold on. How long have you had this in your mind?
About a year.
About a year that you want to buy this, right? And this was his deal before he came to Mastery. He wanted to buy a Ferrari. But I'm like, Frank, you need enough houses. So the other day when he called, his deal was, man, I really want to get this Ferrari. So I said, okay, let's do this. Why don't we meet, bring me your cash flow, what cash flow you have. We're going to figure out how many houses do you need so that you never have to pay for the car, but your tenants pay for the car for you. I'm with Frank, and Frank's deal was, Andrew, no Maseratis anymore, Ferraris. So you were making fun of my car, right? So what's wrong with the Maserati?
It's a poor man's Ferrari.
It's a poor man's Ferrari. So there we go. We officially have it. So now I got to change the car, right? So the way this came about was you have always had this thing in your mind that you want a Ferrari, correct?
Right.
Okay. The other day, I'm sorry?
Or a Bull, Lamborghini.
Lamborghini or a Ferrari.
Right.
Okay. So right now, you got to decide, man. Right now, you can't buy both. You can buy one.
Right.
So which one you buy?
More than likely the Ferrari.
More than likely Ferrari. So the Ferrari Portofino, right? So we're going to go inside one of his properties and we're going to do a quick recording on what are the numbers that Frank needs to be able to buy this Ferrari. Deal?
Deal.
Great. So Frank, we're inside, right? This is one of your rehabs. So I wanted to kind of run the numbers with you, right? So let's kind of first jot down what is the goal here. So you want to buy the Ferrari Portofino, right? That's the goal. So for a car with the,
Lease.
You want to lease it, okay. You want to lease, we'll talk about why lease, right? So what are your payments on something, I mean, that's about a $250,000 car, right, give or take. On that, what are your payments? You worked out a pretty good number that you're happy with.
About 25 grand down.
25 grand down, okay. So 25,000 bucks. You already have that.
Yeah.
Okay. And what sort of lease payments are we talking about?
About 2,500.
2,500 a month, right? So now, and this is what I wanted to talk about, was I said, hey, hold on, wait a minute, right? Before you buy this, so let's look at, so when I looked at your numbers, right? Your numbers right now, how many properties do you have?
11.
You have 11 properties, and what is your net cash flow?
Well, 9 actually, because 2 are my residences.
Okay, so out of this,
Say 9.
9, let's just use 9, not 11, okay? So what is, on 9 properties, what is your net cash flow?
7,500.
About 7,500 right now. 7,500 bucks. This is not counting what your wife makes or anything, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you used to be in the car business,
right?
Now you're just doing properties our way,
correct.
right? So now you can do this two ways, right? One is the job way, which is how most people look at it. I'm going to go out, get a really good job. To pay for a car that costs this kind of money, I have to have a really good job, right? The problem is this, right? Exactly. But see, what would a surgeon do, or what would an attorney do, or what would somebody that has a job do, or what would somebody do with a flip? Right? You need to buy a car where you're going to make these kind of payments, you have to do that many properties, right? Let's just say if you were paying cash for it. Here's what I want to show. You would, to buy a car that's, let's say, $250,000, you're going to have to make about $330,000 to pay taxes on this, so you have this left over.
Right.
Right? Now, guess what happens? The problem with doing it this way, nothing wrong. The problem is this: 3, 4, 5 years from now, what is this thing worth? Right? This is maybe worth 60, 70, 100,
right.
You know, and really there's no market for those type of car. You have lost maybe 150,000, maybe 200,000 in cold hard cash. So this is the way that an average person would do it. My way of looking at it is this. So you have basically 2,500 is your payments on the car, correct. Right? So now if we take 2,500 and we divide it by 500, what is that number that it gives you? It gives you 5 properties. Right? So my point has always been in this, is you take the 5, multiply this point by 1.2. Okay. So realistically, you need about 6 houses that you own in addition to be able to buy this toy. Are you guys with me?
Right.
So if that makes any sense, there's a couple ways of doing things. Either you can work for it, which is that you keep going to work, make money, try to save it, and then basically keep that job and keep working harder to buy a toy, or you can buy an asset and then that asset buys the toys, right? So, exactly. And here's the better part. 2 years from now or 3 years from now, you don't have to go to work again.
Right.
The properties and your tenants are still running on their treadmill to guess what? Now it's a Ferrari Portofino, maybe they'll come out with a newer model, right? And I'm sure you'll buy the newer model, correct?
Well, that's the goal.
That's the goal. Okay, great. So hopefully that makes sense. It's his journey to buy a Ferrari, and so you're going to buy the Ferrari and I'm going to buy the Rolls. That's the deal, right? Okay, so how long before you get to this goal realistically?
Realistically, by April of next year.
April of next year. I was hoping you were going to say December of this year, so January 1st both of us go buy 2 new cars. But so April of next year makes sense.
If I
So
had the
that's
right contractors, it would help.
okay. So April of 2019,
Yeah.
right? So you're going to delayed gratification. You're going to wait for about 7 to 8 months, but in 7 to 8 months you can buy the car of your dreams, correct? Because that was your goal when you came into Mastery. He's like, man, all these real estate people buy all these cars. That's what I want to do. So hopefully that's not only a great lesson for him, but that's another way of looking at real estate. So here is Frank buying a Ferrari using rental houses.